Hello guys, welcome to another video. In this video we will look at the possible allies of Kratos and Atreus in God of War Ragnarök. Santa Monica has always made sure Kratos has had allies in the God of War series. Kratos is strong, but he would not have gotten to where he is now without the help of allies from his past. A character neck deep in people who want to kill him. This reached its limit in God of War 3, where all of Olympus was out to get him. We can't say he didn't deserve it. However, it's interesting that most of his enemies were his one-time allies. Prime example, Artemis, who you have no idea what became of her, but the blade she provided Kratos in Pandora's temple turned out to be the best weapon in the game. Without the use of this weapon, Kratos might have not made it to Pandora's box, as the blades of chaos just weren't strong enough to keep up with beings of brute strength. Artemis' weapons was vital in enabling Kratos to tear through the hordes attacking him. As Artemis' death wasn't confirmed, it seems she might have been way more powerful than most of the gods. We can also look at Pandora, being the key to unlocking the box from behind the flame of Olympus, and also being the reason Kratos was able to beat Zeus in the end. Her strength as an ally presented itself when her memory reminded Kratos that he had the power of hope within him the whole time, which he used to finally put an end to Zeus' threat. Athena, who was his only friend among the gods until God of War 3. It was Athena's guidance that helped Kratos carry out the tasks the gods gave him, and she was the reason why he became the God of War in the first place. Athena was the one who provided Kratos the replacement for the blades of chaos, and due to her support, Kratos was able to defeat Zeus. Her most noteworthy power remains the power of hope, which she placed within Pandora's box. They served their purpose well in the end. And then the god of the sea, Poseidon, whose greatest contribution was the rage ability he gave Kratos in God of War. A power Kratos retained it all the way to God of War 2, along with the trident that permanently gave Kratos the ability to breathe underwater. Kratos would have been suffering for eternity in the underworld had it not been for Gaia's intervention in God of War 2. Gaia was the one who orchestrated the return of the Titans into the present. While she used Kratos as a pawn, he did achieve his mission of eliminating the Sisters of Fate because of her. Gaia inadvertently aided Kratos in God of War 3, where her betrayal enabled him to find out about Pandora's box. On her own, she was powerful enough to outlast the gods' imprisonment of the Titans and was responsible for raising Zeus. Ares brought out the best of Kratos in combat, but the worst as far as humanity was concerned. It was Ares who saved Kratos' life first and endowed him with the blades of chaos, the same blades that Kratos used in the Norse world to great effect. Had Kratos embraced the dark side fully, Ares would have usurped Zeus. This video identifies characters who will help Kratos and Atreus in the upcoming God of War Ragnarök, as occurred in the Greek pantheon. Mimir, Brock, and Sindri have already pledged their allegiance to Kratos and Atreus, so without any further delay, the first on the list is the Vani gods. The Vani are one of the two tribes of Norse gods along with the Aesir, and are known for their connection to nature and magic. They are natives of Vanaheim, one of the 9 realms of the world tree. They are associated with fertility, wisdom, and the ability to see the future. The Vani were one of 2 groups of gods venerated by the ancient Nordic pagans, the other being the Aesir. The Vani always had simmering tensions with their rival tribe, the Aesir. It was when the Aesir attempted to murder one of their leaders, Freya, that the Vani attempted an act of diplomacy which consequently led to an outbreak of war. Despite their enemies' immense strength, the Vani proved to be their equal and delivered devastating damage to the Aesir. Their battles raged on for centuries until both sides were finally fed up with the senseless conflict. having no choice but to compromise in order to achieve peace. Mimi served as the ambassador of the two tribes, proposed that one of their leaders, Freya, marry the king of the Aesir, Odin, a proposal that finally brought peace to both the Vani and Aesir. However, Odin's increasing paranoia forced Freya to leave him, thus breaking the fragile peace and once again igniting war between the two tribes of gods. The Vani are renowned for their natural affinity for magic, more specifically the art of seer. During one of their battles against the Aesir, their seer spells were capable of pushing back what was described as the largest army ever gathered, inflicting tremendous losses on their enemies. Ancient Vani arts, known as the Old Magic, were capable of reanimating the dead, and some of them even had the ability to manipulate time itself. One of the most significant accomplishments of Vani magic is invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical, which Freya blessed or cursed Balder with. The only thing that can break the spell is mistletoe, as Mimi describes. Though Vani magic is powerful, its rules remain slippery and elusive. It seems the mystical ways of the Vani can be taught to other races, since Freya was the one who taught the former husband, Odin, the art of seer, and Sindri, a dwarf, went to Vanaheim to learn their magic in order to improve his smithing skills. Going by the enemy of my enemy is my friend, the Vani gods will surely help Kratos fight the Aesir gods in God of War Ragnarök. Freya, also known as the Witch of the Woods and Queen of the Valkyries, is a Vani goddess who helps Kratos and Atreus on their journey. Little is known about her childhood, aside from being the daughter of Jod, as well as the sister of Freya. Freya had been a leader of the Vani gods during the Aesir Vani War and eventually agreed to marry Odin in order to bring peace between the two sides. Freya clearly did not enjoy this, due to her own distaste for the Aesir, especially after they unjustly imprisoned, tortured, and nearly killed her brother, Frey. In the course of the marriage, gave birth to Balder, who Kratos killed in God of War 2018. Balder was the only gift she treasured from her marriage to Odin, and she was a good parent who only wished to spare him. But her impulsive decision to curse him to accomplish it was bloody, tragic, and terribly stupid. Distraught from her son's needless death, swears vengeance upon Kratos, saying he robbed her of everything, claiming that Kratos is simply an animal filled with cruelty and rage who cannot change, followed by hurling threats and insults at Kratos. She was most likely acting out of grief, regret, and rage, despite her threat of vengeance and fury towards Kratos for killing her son, and many would argue that Odin's curse prevents her from killing anything, thus preventing her from fulfilling that vengeance and therefore making her threat a hollow one. However, Mimi says that while Atreus and Kratos were on the peak of Jotunheim, Freya came to him and sought information where her Valkyrie rings were hidden by Odin. In God of War Ragnarök trailer, Freya is shown attacking Kratos with her sword right after shape-shifting, to which the Spartan blocked with a guardian shield. An attack so furious that the strike forced a gap in the shield's formation, a feat that no foe in the 2018 game managed to accomplish. The fact that she was able to use her sword in the trailer indicates that Freya at some point was able to reclaim her warrior spirit and be able to fight again. It makes perfect sense why Freya hunts Kratos instead of helping them, but the truth of the fact is that the hate Freya has for Odin is far greater than that of Kratos. Also, Odin can be partly blamed for the death of Balder. Sending him to find Freya and found Kratos instead is what eventually led to his death. I think Mimi would help convince Freya to come to her senses, which eventually will make Freya help them once more. Also, if the Vani gods are to unite with Kratos, Freya will be forced to join them. Tyr, whose height is 8'5", is the Norse god of war, law, and honor. A son of Odin, half-brother of Thor, brother Odin and Bragi, and paternal uncle of Magni and Modi. A natural pacifist, Tyr sought to broker peace between his people, the Aesir, and their long-standing enemies, the Jotnar. Following the tentative truce between the Aesir and the Vani. Though the giants were frightened by the Aesir's power, they held enough trust in Tyr to allow Odin entry into Jotunheim for negotiations. Odin secretly intended not to honor any deal made and instead used the opportunity to spy and steal the giant's secret wisdom. Anticipating Odin's treachery, the giant expelled him from Jotunheim, cursing him to never return. In anger, Odin turned his wrath on the giant of Midgard, allowing Thor to massacre them at will. Feeling guilty for his role in the Jotnar's suffering, Tyr aided the guardian of the Jotnar, Freya, in hiding the gate of Jotunheim in the space between realms, preventing Odin from ever having a direct way back to Jotunheim. However, through the use of the Unity Stone, Tyr himself was still able to access Jotunheim via the hidden gate. Eventually, Odin grew to regard Tyr as a threat to his power, correctly suspecting him of plotting with the giants. As a result, Odin had Tyr imprisoned and spread rumors that he had died. Betrayed by his father, Odin further went on and attacked the giants. Tyr will be rescued by Kratos and Atreus and will aid them to defeat Odin and bring peace back into the world. Fenrir. Fenrir, also known as Rodvitnir, famed wolf, is a wolf giant god and considered as one of the greatest enemies of the Aesir. He is destined to fight and kill Odin during Ragnarök. He is the father of both Skor and Hati. Once the gods found out about their existence, they began to fear them, as there were prophesied that these three siblings would bring great misfortune upon the gods due to nature of both of their parents, their father Loki in particular. Fenrir, however, was kept in Asgard, but inspired such fear in the gods that only Tyr was brave enough to approach the wolf and give him food. The gods noticed that Fenrir was rapidly growing bigger with every passing day, which only made them more fearful of him due to the prophecy that the wolf would bring them great harm. Thus, they decided to try and imprison Fenrir. Although not seen by Kratos and Atreus on their journey, Fenrir is confirmed to exist as he is alluded to multiple times in scriptures and dialogue. In particular, Mimi mentions him in one of his tales and refers to him as a great nemesis of the Aesir gods. Although he refers to the wolf using his alternative name, Rodvitnir. When Kratos and Atreus retrieve the mythical ingredients from Motsognir's corpse in Konungsgard, Fenrir is alluded to once more when Atreus expresses confusion as to how Brok and Sindri can make anything out of the odd ingredients they picked up, to which Mimi tells him that dwarves are very resourceful. As according to legend, they once made an unbreakable chain using similarly strange ingredients, a cat's footsteps and bird's spit. Two of the ingredients used to make Gleipnir, the chain used by the Aesir to imprison Fenrir. Mimi's tales and the fact that Skor and Hati are already in the sky chasing the sun and moon indicate that Fenrir was imprisoned a very long time ago. It's highly probable that Mimi knows the secret location where Fenrir was imprisoned, freeing Fenrir like Tyr through the odds in favor of Kratos. Hel. Hel is the daughter of Loki and Angbother, and also the goddess of death who rules over Helheim. She was feared by the Aesir and was imprisoned by Odin. In her case, Odin decided to banish her to Helheim, but not before he gave her complete authority over all of the 9 realms deceased, a decision he would later regret. Hel would then remain in Helheim for all eternity, residing in a hall known as Eljunde, with great walls and immense gates. Hel rules Helheim alone and has complete authority over the dead. Even the other gods, including Odin himself, had to respect Hel's position as ruler of the underworld and her total control over the dead. From Norse mythology, Hel sent all of her dead to aid in the battle against the other gods, giving her father Loki and another Jotunheim control of the ship Nagfar, which they will use to ferry their forces into battle alongside the fire giants and the dead. Whether or not Hel herself takes part in the battle and her ultimate fate afterwards is unknown. While she is never mentioned by any of the characters, it's possible that she is alive and survived the genocide of the giants by the Aesir gods. Hel, like her brother Fenrir, is never seen by Kratos and Atreus during their quest, despite the fact that they went to Helheim where she rules over. Her main contribution in God of War Ragnarök can be in the form of supplying dead allies who will fight alongside Kratos and Atreus in Ragnarök. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel since it helps me a lot. Also, remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next video. Peace out.